In this video, we'll show you how to replace the antennas on your phone, either the service or signal antenna, your main antenna used to call, or the Wi-Fi antenna up top. If these go out, check the plugs first, and I'll show you on the close-up here. You have two plugs on the board. You actually have a plug right down here, which is for the signal antenna. That's the one that we kind of weaved out of this little hook when we were disassembling the phone. Or you have this one up top right here, and that's the Wi-Fi plug. Check those two connections first just to make sure that they're plugged in. If you're losing signal partially, maybe you're not getting as strong a signal as you could be, then we'll obviously need to check those plugs before replacing this. If you've checked them and they're still still not getting as good a signal as possible, it could be the board causing that. Maybe the generator on the board isn't working. There could be board damage. So we'll show you how to replace these, but it could be something else causing the signal to either be weak or maybe not there at all. So we'll start with the bottom antenna. We have these two screws, and it's basically the same repair as the ringtone loudspeaker module. So we have the two screws right there and there. We have this little retaining bracket that you want to make sure you don't lose, this little black bracket right there. So we'll set those aside, and then we'll pull this down and out. And then there's two screws holding the antenna onto the module itself. You screw on the outside and a screw right on the inside. Now, to separate this, there's adhesive holding the antenna onto the module. And usually I'll start right in kind of in the middle right here and just work my way to the outside, and then eventually just peel this up and slide the cap right there off the end of the module. So we'll set that aside. We'll get our new antenna with the adhesive and backing on it. Peel the backing off, both strips, being careful not to handle it too much, and then you can just slide that cap right over there and then follow the antenna on the frame itself. So there'll be a little outline, and you can just kind of follow that in place, and then we'll put the two screws back into place. Right there. And then to put it in, we'll just start at the bottom at kind of a 45. And then when you go to put the actual module to line it up, make sure all these little contacts right here, these little fingers, line up actually inside of the LCD frame. You don't want them to stick up, or they may break off. So once you get that in place, I'll hold it down like that and line one screw up, tighten it down, and then I'll usually just kind of grab this little bracket, this little retaining clip, drop that right into place, and you may have to fiddle with it for a little bit. And then the one thing is you just want to be careful to get that screw lined up and tighten that down right in place, just like that. And then that should fix your or possibly fix your antenna for the service. If your Wi-Fi is having issues, and you've checked the plug on here and it's still not working, then what we'll do is we'll remove this one screw right in there. We've already taken this screw out. We actually don't need to, but we've taken the screws out, all the other screws out when we took the board out. So we have that screw to remove, and if it's kind of stubborn, you can use your tweezers. And then what we'll want to do is just gently lift underneath the antenna, and there'll be kind of a thicker plastic piece that's part of the antenna as well. It's kind of part of the housing. And what we'll do, minding the adhesive underneath of it, but once you get that, you can lift that out, and we'll install the new one. If you need to apply adhesive, you can put some on here, and should help to secure the antenna to the headset connector. But what you'll want to do is just kind of bend this little cable in where the screw goes, right there. And then there's actually two holes on the underside of this antenna right there that line up with two holes on top of the headset connector. So we'll just kind of line that up. You want to get this piece in here, because if you try to bend it, it may be more of a pain after the fact. So once you get that lined up, when those the two holes line up, it should drop right into place. And then we'll tighten this screw down right in there. And then the last thing is this cable right here. You can just kind of lift it and slide it up and under. And I'll show you here on the close-up. So that cable right there is just going to go inside of that little bracket right there for the housing. And so once you get those, again, test them, and hopefully that fixes any Wi-Fi or signal issues you may have had.